Welcome once again to another episode of Heavy in the Paint. I'm Gerald Brown of SiriusXM NBA Radio, the Bottom Line Sports Show. Make sure you check us out and make sure you hit the subscribe button. Follow me on social media. I'm on X as the original Gerald Brown and then G Brown Sports on Instagram. And right now, this is history being made. Basketball analyst, budding basketball enthusiast. Young man loves him some basketball, and it's an honor and a privilege to bring on Mr. Noah Brown. Noah, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Hey, I don't care. I can't complain. I'm excited.
I mean, it's the best time of the year, playoffs. How can you not be great right now?
Yeah, it can be very exciting. So Noah, first and foremost, I'll ask you about some of the playoff series and stuff like that when we look at these. And granted, I want to look at some of these that are already, we have the matchups all set up. Milwaukee at Indiana. This is going to be Indiana. And this was a matchup last year in his first round series. Kind of the same scenario. Only difference was the series started in Milwaukee. Milwaukee was without Giannis Antetokounmpo. And now they're not going to have Damian Lillard to start the series. And this year, it's going to start in Indiana. Talk about this series. When you look at this series, who has the advantage in your opinion?
To be honest, I know a lot of people are probably favoring Indiana right now, but I still don't want to count out Giannis because, he has a chip on his shoulder. He has a lot to prove. And he's still a great player. He was top 3 And yeah, so Giannis was a top 3 MVP candidate this year. He's still a great player. I'm not sure on what Indiana plans on doing to try to slow him down and stop him. And I also saw that Damian Lillard is also recovering from his blood clot injury. So he's expected to probably be back by the next round. So, it gives guys motivation to play and actually win and try to actually compete for a championship. So I kind of like Milwaukee out that series, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not picking Milwaukee. And the reason why is, number one, I don't believe Damian Lillard's going to be back for the playoffs. Obviously, doctors, and I wish him all the best. But when I look at Milwaukee, even with a healthy Giannis and a healthy Dame, they're still slow in a lot of the areas. Brook Lopez was a nightmare matchup. Then again, let me rephrase that. Miles Turner was a nightmare of a matchup for Brook Lopez in last year's series and stuff. And obviously you're talking about a 7'1" guy and Lopez trying to guard out on the perimeter, Miles Turner, who could hit threes and stuff. They really spread the court and really spread out Milwaukee, which was really something that they did. And then they allowed guys like Halliburton, Nembhard, and now they have Bennett Mathurin back. I think, it's going to be a very tough, challenging process for the Milwaukee Bucks. I say the only way they win this series, in my humble opinion, is Milwaukee has to lose this series more so than, Indiana has to lose this series and do all the wrong things more than Milwaukee beating them. I just don't see that happening.
I don't know. I just feel like you can't count out Giannis.
Yeah, it's Giannis, and they're going to wall up. They're going to do all those things. But Indiana also, too, has that experience. And look, you're trying to infuse some young guys from Kevin Porter Jr., and also Kyle.
And got Bobby Portis back, too, as well.
Bobby Portis, who, honestly, if you go back in that series, he had that suspension and got ejected in that game in which they went down and had an opportunity. But I think that it's just that Indiana has their number and they're a fast team. They're going to look to get out and run and really try to exploit the Bucks, but not having Damian Lillard, I think that really hurts them. But I just don't really see in this series. If Milwaukee wins maybe 2 games, I would be very surprised. But right now, I'm looking at the Indiana Pacers winning at best in 5 games.
Okay. Definitely going to be entertaining either way. It's going to be an entertaining series.
Yeah, so let's move on. The Clippers took down last weekend. They took down the Golden State Warriors. Look, this was an unbelievable series. And Kawhi Leonard showed flashes of what Kawhi Leonard looks like when he's healthy. And I tell you this, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell, they are very, very scary on paper. But it's always been two things when I look at the Clippers, and I want to know if you agree or disagree. When I look at the Clippers, James Harden has to really produce in the playoffs, something that he
Right.
hasn't been able to do so. And then Kawhi Leonard has to stay healthy. Do you agree or disagree with that being perhaps the major factor for the Clippers in this first round series against the Denver Nuggets?
Honestly, I'm afraid of a healthy Kawhi on any team he plays for. I'm definitely afraid of a healthy Kawhi playing. James Harden is kind of the opposite. I mean, we've seen him multiple times in the playoffs with opportunities. You know, when he was in Houston, when he went against that Golden State team, they had a chance to put them out, and he just didn't get it done. And he did the same thing in Philly. It's starting to become a consistent thing with James Harden. So I'm not really afraid of the Clippers right now, but as they look on Golden State, if they continue to play like that, they are definitely a dark horse for me. They would change my input on that.
When then,
So
yeah, when you look at Denver, obviously Nikola Jokic is Nikola Jokic. You might as well just say he's a walk-in MVP
right,
candidate each and every single year. But they lost their coach with pretty much 4 games left in the season. Uh,
right,
they have Adelman, obviously the assistant coach now, the interim head coach. This is a veteran-laden team, and Noah, when I look at the Nuggets, they're such a veteran-laden team that has been there and done that. I don't really think that the coaching change will really have an impact on this series,
really.
especially going up against the Clippers. How do you see it?
I think it is going to be a very big change because it's going to be a lot of different rotations, a lot of different lineups. I was seeing a couple of things where they were having the problems with the minutes with that Russell Westbrook was getting, and they wanted to get more younger guys involved. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of tension in the locker room. Hopefully, it doesn't translate out on the court. But like you said, Nikola Jokic is a bad man. He's going to go out there and do what he does. He's going to put up those Nikola Jokic numbers, and honestly, I feel like the Clippers have a good team to match up with him. Zubac has been playing really well this season. It hurts me to see that he's not in the Lakers uniform, but I'm still happy for him. But yeah, I think it all comes down to if Kawhi's healthy. If he's healthy, I think the Clippers are going to take that series.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence. I think this potentially could be either a 6 or 7 game series. I think also
Absolutely.
benches will factor into this series. When you have the others, I like to always associate with from Russell Westbrook, Chris Brown, Peyton Watson, some of the other guys that will come off that bench for the Nuggets. And then when I look at the Clippers and stuff, when I look at that Clippers team, that is a team that honestly they're going to have to get a lot from guys like Chris Dunn has been unbelievable when I look at this team and stuff. But you mentioned about Zubac. Norman Powell, honestly, if he would have played a little bit more, he missed a lot of time. He would
Right.
have been the most improved player. But I look at guys from
I
both
could
guys,
agree with that.
Derek Jones Jr., Amir
I keep
Coffey.
forgetting they picked up Ben Simmons too. Ben Simmons
Oh,
was looking all right. I know how you feel about
yeah,
Ben
no,
Simmons, but he didn't look as bad as I thought he was going to look in his
yeah.
first game back. If he decides he wants to play, that could be a scary look.
And you said the key word, if. And I think at this point, I don't think you can count on him. But I'm going to say this series goes at least 6 games, maybe 7. I want to say the Clippers because I believe that Clippers can be that real dark horse team, like you alluded to. I want to say
Right.
I'm a lean towards the Clippers, but I think the first game will be the huge key for the Clippers. If they can get that first game in Denver, I think clearly with them having that momentum, maybe, just maybe, this could be perhaps a 5 game series or 6. At best, I wouldn't be surprised if it went 7. Detroit basketball. Detroit basketball. They're going to open up at the Big Apple. The Big Apple is going to be bubbling. They are going to be bubbling on a Saturday night, trying
Can
to
I
get
just say what
right.
a year for Detroit? I am so happy for Detroit.
Oh, my
See
goodness.
to see how they come from being the worst team in the NBA to bounce back and lock in a guarantee spot in the playoffs, avoid the play-in. That's amazing.
It's
You
yes.
love
And
to see it.
Yes, that's the key thing. You touch right on it. So when you look at this team, what do they have to do to spring the upset? And I think it starts with game one, Noah.
It
When you look
does.
at this, how important is game one for the Detroit Pistons?
The Pistons have to win this game one. It's huge for them because it's going to set the tone. It's going to show the Knicks that they're not young and inexperienced, even though they are, but they have a little bit of game. They have the confidence. So if they go out there and play and they secure that game one, it's gonna change everything.
Yeah, I think it puts a lot of pressure on the Knicks. And when I look at the Knicks, look, this team is totally different. Last year, they were grit and grind. Isaiah Hartenstein, the
Right.
way he performed. But look, he's gone. He's in Oklahoma City. But you still have a guy like Mitchell Robinson coming back. You got to make sure a guy like Karl Anthony Towns as well as Jaylen Brown. Defensively, that's my area of concern with this New York Knicks team. What do they have to do to really make sure they lay the hammer down the first game against the Detroit Pistons team?
Hmm.
What do you think they have to do, the Knicks?
Yeah, it's just like you said. I think the Knicks gonna have to really lock in and play some defense because Cade is a very versatile scorer. He's a three
Yeah,
level scorer. He has a nice post game. He's gonna attack. He's gonna hit you in the mid range. And he's gonna get guys involved, and they're gonna play defense as well. Saar Thompson, the young guy, he could play defense. Duran and Stewart, the rotates. They're gonna have bodies on Karl Anthony Towns, so it's not gonna be a cakewalk for the New York Knicks. I know they're probably thinking that it's the Pistons. They're young, they can't really do anything, and they can't walk into game one with the home court advantage like that. They have to get the job done. So we just have to see how they look, and they have to make sure that they focus on defense.
yeah. I see this. I see this series playing out this way. I see the Knicks in a dogfight get game one. I see them losing game two.
I do too, actually.
And here's the thing: if it works in reverse, if the Pistons get game one and the Knicks get game two, it's going to be a shift of energy. And the reason why I say that is because the Knick fan base is going to be up in arms if the Pistons win either one of those games. And I would say more than anything, if the Knicks lose game one and they come out and lose game one to this Pistons team, it's going to put a lot of people on edge and going to be in a situation. If it's going to be a lot of pressure, it's going to be on that Knicks team. And
Right.
honestly, Noah, I really believe that the Pistons are going to make the Knicks work in this series. I can see this series going six.
Absolutely. I see it going to 6 or
Yeah,
7.
yeah, they're going to make them work. It's not going to be a cakewalk because, like you mentioned, they have a young team, but you got guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley that have been there and done that. So I don't see it really being that much of a cakewalk for them, but I really, really believe they're going to try to muck it up, and make it real difficult for the Knicks. And they're going to make the Knicks work. This is not going to be an
It's
easy
not going to be
series.
easy at all.
Yeah, I think we agree on that. So we say maybe about 6 games,
Yeah,
6 games
six,
in the
at
series,
least 6, at least 6.
at least 6 games. And then obviously your team, that team.
LA, stand up. Lake Show, stand up.
Okay, Noah,
I've been waiting for this one.
tell me why.
I've been waiting for this
Why
one
you
because
smiling
I've been
like
hearing a
that?
lot of Minnesota sending you guys home. I've been hearing Minnesota this, Minnesota that, Ant-Man, Ant-Man. But come on, let's be for real.
Tell me why you are so heavy on the Lakers taking down the Minnesota Timberwolves in this series. Tell me what is the big key for the Lakers to get this done?
Well, right now I feel like Luca is getting more comfortable, and I think that he's finally getting in a groove with his 3-point shot percentage. It's been looking more efficient. The first couple of games he was playing, it's been very choppy, and it looked like he hasn't been in rhythm because he missed a lot of games this season. But he's starting to ramp up, and he's looking like he's in playoff form right now. He had a great game against Houston. I know that there wasn't any of the starters playing, but still, it's impressive to put those numbers up in 3 quarters regardless of who was on the floor. So I'm really liking to see that. I know LeBron, he had left that game too. That's the only thing I'm concerned about for real is what LeBron will get in the playoffs. But Austin Reeves has took a huge leap this season. He's been playing really well. He looks like he could be a future All Star. Um, our defensive guys, Vando, DFS, they're gonna do what they do. They're
Yeah,
gonna play defense, and it really comes down to our role players, though. To be honest, I think it comes down to what we getting from Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent coming off that bench. Because I know Minnesota is very deep, and Ant is very explosive too. He could go for 40-point games. He could go for 35 plus games. Ant Man is gonna be Ant Man. So,
yeah.
but I feel like the real reason why we're gonna take this series is because I feel like Rudy Gobert's weakness is small ball. He's a 7 foot guy, but he struggles on that perimeter, and I feel like that's what happened last year with Dallas.
Yeah, you are really loving them, those Lakers. But here's the thing where I said that this could potentially be a very, very close series. You got Mike Conley, who is a veteran. He's been out there quite some time. Uh, and Man Edwards, this is the next step in his maturation process, and this is the next step in his, development. But I think the key guys like Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle is now getting comfortable. Rudy Gobert, like you mentioned, when they make the decision, this will come down whose bench is most effective. Like I think we were talking
Exactly.
about, in one of the other series, we were talking about the Clippers and the Nuggets. You know what you're going to get from your stars, but now whose bench is able to step up and stand out. And that comes from guys like Dante DiVincenzo,
Right.
Nas Reed, Nikhil Alexander Walker,
Right.
trying to get some of those other guys in there. And if there's a guy that can be that sleeper in there, that is going to be something interesting to see. Now, look, the Minnesota Timberwolves went to the Western Conference Finals last year. I thought they should have been in the NBA Finals, but obviously Dallas took care of their business. You know what
Right.
you're going to get with Luka. Is there any concern about Luka on the defensive side, especially when you witness teams putting him in that pick and roll situation?
Honestly, I feel like when you have a lot of good guys around him that are mainly for like they're out there just strictly to play defense and help on defense, it gives him a little bit more of a safety net to be Luca, because obviously Luca isn't the best defender. He's not a great defender at all. He's not a good defender. So when you have guys playing weak side help and helping him on those pick and rolls when guards and people are attacking him, you could take a deep breath because it's like, okay, we have some type of help to help right there in the front court with him. So another example too is look how we did Nas Reed, that matchup we had. What day was that?
Well, you got to say first and foremost, understand regular season is regular season.
I
Postseason
can't
is
stand I can't
it.
stand I can't stand that tape because at the end of the day it's a game. You don't go
It's
out
a
there to
game.
lose on purpose. It's still a game.
It's still a game,
It's
but
still
at
a
the end of
game.
the day, you're not going to show everything. And the biggest thing is the team that's able to take away what you like to do best
Right.
is normally the team that wins. The team that wins is when you take away they take away what you like to do best and you counter that. That is when those are those teams that win unexpectedly. And those are the teams that, again, like I said before, look, this is going to be a fight. I'm not saying that LA is going to come in there. I wouldn't be surprised if LA advances in this series, but
Mhm.
I'm not going to count out Minnesota, especially when the fact is, again, Ant-Man is on a mission. LeBron is getting a little older, and
Yes.
you got to watch out in terms for Julius Randle, some get back against his former team. Dante DiVincenzo, these guys and stuff like that are playing for an opportunity to really, really showcase what they can do.
I
I
feel like
wouldn't,
Julius Randle would make the case though for that series because I feel like it all boils down to what Julius Randle you're getting out of that series.
yeah, and
Because you
he's gonna have to be the X factor. Uh,
right.
Give me a team that you feel. I mean, give me. Obviously, you're gonna go with the Lakers. That's your heart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who? How many games?
I think Lakers in five.
Wow. I
Shannon said, it's Uncle Shannon said, Lakers in five. I got us in five. Because the thing is, I feel like we're going to target Michael Conley. I feel like he's been at the downward slope, a downward trajectory these last couple games of the season, and he just hasn't been impressive to me personally. So I feel like we're gonna attack him, either him or Deep, because look at our lineup. If you got let's say you got Jaden McDaniels guarding Luca. You put Randall on LeBron. You got Gobert on Hayes or whoever, Dorian Finney-Smith. Who's going to stick Reeves and Hashimura?
Well, you know what? It's going to be a matchup. I
There's
mean,
going to be some options on that Lakers
it's
side.
definitely going to be some options. You could have a situation with the Lakers where, look, if you have that, Mike Conley, I don't foresee Mike Conley guarding Luka Doncic. That's not going to
It's not
happen.
going to happen.
You're going to have, in all likelihood, you're probably going to have Luka guarded by Anthony Edwards, and then
Right.
Austin Reeves will be guarded by Mike Conley Jr. And now you will have a situation where Julius Randle is going to have to come out on the perimeter guard LeBron. And then if it's Jaden McDaniels guarding LeBron, you put McDaniels, on LeBron. Then you put Julius Randle on Hachimura. And then Jackson Hayes and Gobert are really pretty much an even split. So I do believe it's going to be
It's going to be tricky for Minnesota.
it's going to be tricky, but it's going to be tricky for the Lakers too.
It
Because
will,
the
and
biggest thing is,
I feel like our problem will be on defense. You know, they're gonna attack Luca, and then we're just gonna have to figure out how to adjust off of that. But
yeah.
honestly, we've looked really well. We look good in the zone. We've been playing really well in that 2-3. So I like how we look. I like our odds.
Well, it's just I don't think it's going to be 5.
What do you think?
I think it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers win in 6, but at the
Okay.
same time, I wouldn't be surprised if the Timberwolves come out in 7. I really wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think if the Timberwolves win it, it will be in a 7 game. It will game
It would
7.
it would be 7. And here's the thing: why? This is Ant-Man's next opportunity to take that next step.
Right.
And the way he's been performing, he's kind of in a situation where, look, the Timberwolves will only go as far as Anthony Edwards takes them.
Right.
And now it's upon him to put that book bag on his back and put that team on his back and basically take them. And he knows that. And I think clearly now you're getting these guys into a rhythm and chemistry with Julius Randle understanding his role, responsibilities, and then at the same time, knowing the others will have to step up. So I really don't believe it's going to be a cakewalk for the Lakers. But like I said before, this easily could be a 7-game series with the Minnesota Timberwolves advancing. But at the same time, I think game 1 will tell us a lot. Game 1 will tell us a lot. And then it's all about what adjustment.
That's another thing too. We have the game home court advantage.
Yeah.
Game 1 is going to be huge. I'm trying to give Minnesota some grace, but I could easily see a sweep as well.
Oh man,
I could see a sweep.
Wow,
I could see a sweep.
You know what? We got to
do. You think there will be any sweeps in the first round?
You know what's so funny? I think clearly the sweeps will come from
the play-in games.
The teams that advance in the play-in team in the games. I really believe that will be, if you will, your sweeps, right?
Okay.
I don't foresee any of those teams really posing a deep threat to any of the teams that are sitting and waiting for them. Granted, I'm a little concerned about Boston. I think Boston's health situation with Jaylen Brown nursing that injury, that knee, that is going to be somewhere they're going to have to be on a mission to take care of business quick, fast, in a hurry. And that goes for Cleveland as well, with Donovan Mitchell coming back from that ankle injury. You don't want to extend these series and give teams an opportunity to compete, because now that means you will have to overextend yourself. So I'm looking at Cleveland. I'm looking at Boston that desperately need to make sure they take care of business. OKC's kind of in the same boat, been there, done that. And Houston has a lot to prove. I think Houston is that team where everybody's looking around saying, hey, they're new kids on the block. I really think that those teams will, pretty much those 3 teams, well, actually those 2 teams those 3 teams, Cleveland, Boston, and OKC sweeps. Maybe Houston gets challenged a little, but I think all of those teams will definitely advance. And then the already set matchups, we will have obviously some great basketball being
Great
played.
basketball. I cannot wait. I feel like it's Christmas in April right now.
It definitely is. Hey, listen, Noah, appreciate you coming on. We have to do this again because as these playoffs come out,
We
definitely
will.
going to want to check in with you. And then, honestly, can you tell everybody how we know each other? Oh, we don't need to tell.
You're my dad. I think
I'm
you're
your
my
dad.
dad. And it's your birthday today, too.
Oh, I'm your dad.
Happy
I'm
birthday,
your dad.
Dad.
This is my son. You know what? He has made me proud. And you know what? I love you, my son.
I
He
love you
loves
too,
his
Dad.
basketball. We got to do this again. Father and son, heavy in the paint. Peace.
Deuces.